Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Game Changers podcast. And today we want to talk about managing ego and toxicity. Right, it's quite simple. Before we head on to today's podcast, I just want to remind you guys of the one thing that we keep on talking about in this podcast, and that is a simple aspect of if you keep on focusing on the path that you're about to take instead of the tree that you're about to hit, you'll hit the tree every time. That's why they train race car drivers to always focus on the track and never look at the wall. Similarly, if you always think of the negatives, the negatives will always keep happening. So guys, just stay positive or positive and just look on the bright side. Things will always get better. Your situation might get rough and tough, but if you always just look on the bright side and look at the positive, look, if you're doing something and there's a positive and negative aspect towards it, then definitely you should always look at the positives, no matter how grief it is. And that's just the same thing, right? So without further ado, let's get on to the topic of the day, which is toxicity, which is the second part, and the first part. What was it? It was I don't know, man. I just mentioned it. So let's just hop on to the podcast. So we were talking about feeding your ego. Feeding your ego. Ego is good. Let me not lie. Ego is good. Ego is something that makes you you. But you should know when to control it. And you should know actually you should know the time and place to control it. Because your ego is actually something that will bring you huge benefits or huge negatives in terms of how you portray yourself. Look, we are told to actually stick with our egos in most of the time, because it's the ego that drives you, it's the ego that makes you you. But in some certain instances, the ego is not good, right? It's not good. Look, and the first thing is that ego, most of the thing that the mistake that we do is that we think the definition of ego is being bigger than ourselves or bigger than the thing that we're trying to avoid. No, not at all. Ego is the thing that makes you seem smaller than the thing that you're trying to avoid. Or ego is what makes you look diminished in some certain aspects. Like, look, why I say this is, ego makes you look diminished. Ego makes you look small. And by being small is when you want to adjust yourself into being into the state that the people that are around you feel not. Right? If someone tells you, nah bro, you got nothing going on, you ain't got no investments, you ain't got no goals, then the ego steps in. Your ego steps in to adjust the situation and tell that guy, no man, I'm actually doing better than you. I'm actually way better than you. I got this modeling thing going on. I got this graduation that's pending, that's waiting for you. You just gotta prove this guy wrong, right? And on top of that, or to top it all off, you gotta tell this guy that you're actually better than him, so that your ego may actually stay true. But when you look at it in hindsight, you actually find out that it's actually the way that you portray yourself in terms of how you want to build yourself. Ego actually helps us to get away with situations that actually, if we were not sober enough, couldn't have not gotten ourselves away from. But if you look at it, it helps you. I mean, I'd like to say this, but ego is actually quite helpful in various situations. Look, if you have a job, or if you're in a job situation, or employed in some company or organization, you've got to look at it in a less pragmatic way, right? Naive way. Like, yes, you got a job, you got this employment going on, you've got this what you've got a stable relationship going on, you've got a good job, and mind you, probably you got a son or a daughter. But if your ego isn't well fed enough, then you've got a huge problem in yourself of like trying to adjust. Look, when you go to parties or clubs or like events that you want to prove yourself into, your ego makes you do certain things that, look, on your normal day you wouldn't have done them. But just because your ego is so inflated to a point that you don't want to diminish yourself, then you have to, or you gotta do the stuffs, right? I mean, look, you're a normal guy earning, let's say, 400 grand a month, and you can afford various stuffs. Your mom, I mean, you take care of, you're taking care of your mom, right? And it's just, everything is just superb, right? But then again, you gotta feed your ego. I mean, like, I'm so sick and tired of mentioning this part, but look, the reason why I'm saying this is because, look, there's an event coming up. Your friend hooked you up and told you, yo man, it's been a while, we haven't gone to an event together, and there's this, I don't know, WizKid event coming up right on, and we just gotta turn up. It's just one and so it's just so basically it's just a once in a life opportunity, right? You have to turn up. Just have to turn up, and you realize that this, I don't know, the tickets are priced. We got the regular tickets, which go for 3,000. We got the VIP tickets, which go for 6,000, and we got the VIP tickets, which go for 10,000. But since your ego is so much inflated to the point that you feel you're like a celebrity or an influential figure, even though yet you're not, you just want to flex on them bitches or them niggas that you got shit. You just had to take the VIP ticket. And guess what? The VIP tickets go for 10,000. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but look, you got 400 grand a month. You got your stable business going on. You can afford that shit. I'm not saying you can't afford it, but you can afford it. But the mistake that goes on is that, why? Why though? Why do you want to prove to these people that you can afford it? And yet, have 10,000 Kenya shillings or 10,000 grand, you could have helped your mom on some other type shit, or your dad on some other project, or yourself in some other important project or your business. It just doesn't add up, right? So ego is good, right? But we should look at the situations in which to affect ego. I'm not here to influence you guys or just tell you which choices are good to make or what is actually the best route to take, but I'm just telling you, nothing you do matters. And I'm not saying this in any way or whatsoever that it's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, look, you always got to make a decision, whether good or bad. But it's the decisions that you make that will determine your future outcomes, right? You have a job. Look, let me speak on behalf of myself. Or better not, let me just not, right? Let me just say it in a hypothetical manner. You got a graduate who's got a new job, right? This guy is totally blank. He's totally new to the life market. He's got to sort out all the things that he had in his New Year's resolutions, all the plans that he had for his life. He's got to make them happen, right? But he's also got to realize that there's the aspect of the ego. And trust me, ego will never go away. Ego will never go away. And you gotta learn a way in which you need to adjust yourself in order to make the adjustment of the ego. Right? And never forgetting also that ego is what leads to toxicity. In events of relationships, and I'm not talking about the male female or male male or female female relationships. No, I'm talking about the friendship relationships also, right? Because look, if you got a friend that you've known for 10 plus years or 5 plus years, or if you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend that you've known for 10 plus years, if your ego is quite bigger to them, look, they might make a provision in themselves to accommodate that. But if you're trying to impress a new person, then aspects such as ego should be toned down a bit. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, listen. Ego is good. And personality is the most important part. Look, helping others and being able to sustain yourself in terms of crisis or situations that are quite grave is what helps us to achieve various goals. But sometimes you gotta look onto the positives or the negatives. How will me being this way help so and so? How will me being this help A, B, and C? Right? So you gotta look at the positives. Life is difficult, and no one actually has ever learned the secrets about being alive. All we do is just try and keep on encouraging each other to be the best of ourselves as we can, right? And much to our amazement, we actually end up not doing most of the stuffs that life wants us to. And that becomes a huge letdown and a big disappointment. But being human is not giving up. Being human means we keep on moving forward and standing firm on all the ideals that we stick true to, right? Therefore, we have to make changes onto our lives, make changes onto our reality, make changes onto our relationships, to our lives, to our workplace. We just gotta adapt, right? And the good thing with us, we know how to adapt in grief situations, right? So, we just gotta make situations in which we understand ourselves and make adjustments based on what we believe and what's right for us, because situations always get better, like always. And if you got a provision in which you can make other things move swiftly and smoothly like they used to, it's better. And you know what? Growing up sucks. Like totally 100% growing up sucks. You've gotta do things that as a kid, if you would have just assumed them, then I think we've just been fine. But now as an adult, you've gotta adjust yourself and you gotta make things work. You can't just keep procrastinating things. Right, you can, but if you keep procrastinating things, then the thing that you procrastinated will just keep recurring. So, just gotta find a way to cope with life. Life is difficult as it is already, and making it difficult isn't good. Right? It isn't good for your mental health. Most of us deal with a lot of shit, and stress being one among them, right? Ego, toxicity, everything. It's just not understandable. But being able to outline the things that you're about to do and the things that you're about to sort out is actually better. Having a well-drawn plan of where you want to go, where you want to be in the next 5-10 years into the future is actually better, right? So I know it's difficult, but sometimes you just gotta make provisions for everything that you try and make or try and want to happen in your life. Look, listen. You are the conscious creator of your reality. Always. But at the same time, I know your brain has a lot of things to deal with. One, probably if you got a relationship problem, you gotta deal with it. And that same brain has to deal with the financial difficulties that you're going through. And that same brain has to deal with making yourself happy. And that same brain has to deal with family feuds and issues, right? And that same brain has to deal with personal achievements. goals that you want to achieve as a person. I know it's not easy. People when someone actually sees a guy or a girl that is depressed and they're like, the guy's not strong enough. He's actually got to talk to more people. But when they actually die, then they be like, oh man, like, oh shit, so sad. He was my friend. I used to talk to him. Bullshit. I don't like that. No one likes that. When someone is actually going through a difficult situation, you're actually supposed to be there, help them, show them that the path that they're on is not helpful, right? They need to decide and move into other things that are actually helpful unto them instead of actually focusing on the things that are detrimental to them, which will eventually lead them to have difficulties or uh, situations that are not helpful to them, may lead to death or depression, right? Which means that you've got to help yourself and gotta help others. So this situation is actually different. Talking about things that are actually important and things that actually matter is the most important thing. Helping others come out of the situations which are actually deep and huge or deep. Well, I already say that, or huge is actually helpful. Telling that person who has suicidal thoughts that they actually matter, that girl, that boy, that it's not about money, it's not about personal goal, it's not about success, but all about your purpose in this world. What's your purpose? Your purpose may be helping others, making others happy. Yesterday I had a little chit chat with my friend. He's a true guy, man. I love him, man. Big up, Dickens. Guara, I love you, man. You helped me a lot. And he actually told me that his purpose, or what he thinks his purpose is to make people happy, make people smile. And when as a podcaster, when I hear such things as making people, that's what makes me feel alive, right? It helps a lot. It helps a lot more because you see this person, right? His life is not that great. He's not a millionaire. He's not a billionaire. But the way he has structured his life and made his life look so comfortable and so peaceful is what I envy the most. Because most people just want to the modern life is so far-fetched to the point where everyone is just up and down looking for money. Like, relationships are all about money, blood tests are all about money, and friendships are all about money. I mean, it's not a good thing, and the future of everything as we know and the future of humanity looks so dark when you quantify in terms of all these things. But money isn't everything. It's the only thing, but it's not everything. There's spiritual sustenance, there's personal achievements, I already talked about everything, all those things, and we don't have we don't have a reason. In the next 30, 50, well, let me not just say 50, in the next 100 years, you won't be here. I'm 100% certain you won't be here. And if you may be here, then that'll be a good chance to remember me and my podcast. But what I'm saying is, humanity is fleeting, and it's fleeting fast. Society is dying, and we have to find ways in which we need to cope with the situations and the rising epidemics. Like we have, I mean, like just when you look at it, COVID recently just fucked us up, right? People were sad. People people lacked jobs. People lacked just the general vibe to move forward, right? Most people were kicked out of the jobs. Most people just went back into the rural areas and just try to make sense of this life. But if you were mentally prepared in dealing with all these stuffs, then definitely we cannot take the mental preparedness that you had for granted. And I don't know, but life is quite difficult and tricky to go around or to maneuver. But if you have a well planned out uh, outline, then definitely you know what you have. So what I'm just saying is toxicity and ego go hand in hand. Ego only feeds toxicity. But at the same time, ego may well not feed toxicity. You may be toxic, but you don't have ego. But you may be egocentric, but highly toxic. And differentiating the two is where one needs to know and draw the line, right? I know some friends or people I know who are highly toxic, but they're just fine. They live their lives quite normal. And I know people who are quite egocentric and are also fine. So this is in no way trying to shun the people who are egocentric or the people who are toxic. But all those are human nature. But what I'm just saying is you need to find a way, or you need to know where to draw the line. You need to know where to draw the line. You need to know where, if this and this are done unto me, then I won't be happy. And if this and this I do to someone else, they won't be happy. Right? So, you need to find a way in which to balance all these things. Just balance everything. Ego is good, but you need to draw the line. You need to know when to draw the line and how to draw the line. Likewise, toxicity. I wouldn't say toxicity is good, but if you're toxic, then you need to find a way in which you can adjust yourself and be more toxic. If you're a girl and you're way toxic, and you're approaching your late 20s, that's a huge bummer. You should actually be quite aware of yourself and aware of your situation. And if you're a dude who's highly toxic, I would recommend that you stop bitching up and just, I'm sorry to use that word, but it's a vocational term. But you need to find a way in which sort yourself out. Otherwise, that's it. That has been it. The short situation session. And I thank you guys for listening to the podcast, and I love you all. Subscribe, follow me. I love you all. Thank you.